Hello and welcome to the second episode of Am I Really the Jerk? I've almost
Are
forget
you?
I hope not. So today I am joined with two guests again, Robyn from SoulTies and Sumaiya with Talking with Sumaiya. If I'm correct.
Sauntering with Sumaiya.
Sauntering with Sumaiya. I'm sorry. Okay.
It's fine. It's fine. It's a big word.
Sauntering with Sumaiya, yeah. So it's hard time for memory. I think it's because your podcast is newer than SoulTies. That's why I'm able to remember SoulTies easier. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
On top of that, too, it's a sentence.
It is a sentence.
It's a word.
It's a mouthful.
When I think of Sauntering with Sumaiya, I think of you like frolicking in a field of flowers.
That's exactly what I was trying to. Yeah, that's exactly what the motive was.
Perfect.
Totally.
It's giving then.
Okay, so this is also the first episode for the YouTube channel where you guys get to see our live face reactions instead of just audio. So I know like more people like are visual learners, especially me. So I think this would also work. Helps, I guess. Mm-hmm. So let's get started. So Robyn, choose a number between 1 and 5.
4.
Okay. I found this one really interesting when I saw the title. So, am I the jerk for making all the women in my family leave after they showed up to my wedding wearing white?
Read it again.
Am I the jerk for making all the women in my family leave after they showed up to my wedding wearing white?
Do
you want to judge the title first or want to hear the story?
It depends, right? It depends, like...
Yeah.
Because is it their wedding? I mean,
it's their wedding. Like
if it's their wedding, then
that's right.
I think
we'll see.
I don't know.
So I, male, 33, have a large family, mostly aunts and female cousins aside from mom, stepmom, stepsister, and grandmother. I don't know how to say this, but all those women I mentioned above are into teasing and joking. They formed a unit, which I admit is kind of toxic. And they tease and roast every new woman that enters the family by marriage by setting up tests to see if they deserve to be part of the family, or roast their looks and styles to the point of breaking confidence and self-esteem down. Then after a few months of teasing, they announced that they finally welcomed them into the family, and the newest family member would join in on the teasing, which is crazy, as my dad says. When I first introduced my then girlfriend, now wife, I made it clear I did not want any of the women in the unit to come at her or harass her, or not even with a single word. They went behind my back and roasted her looks and job, and I discovered they have been doing it on Facebook. I had them apologize one by one after they gave the "we're just testing the water to see if she's capable of being part of the family" excuse. They did not want to apologize, but once I said I would not invite any of the unit unless they apologized, including mom, everyone immediately apologized and brought gifts for my wife. First of them was my stepmom and my sister-in-law. 2 weeks ago, my wedding was 2 weeks ago. There was a talk about the woman in the family wanting to pull a prank on my wife, wearing white and calling it the ultimate test, to see how my wife reacts. My brother warned me, so I announced that if any of them showed up in white, I'll have them kicked out, including mom. They said this wasn't true and they'd never do such a thing. But they showed up to my wedding one by one wearing white dresses, and every one of them was told to leave after they tried to give an excuse, either making a scene or getting the men involved. The senior women of the unit, who are mom and aunts, showed up in white but refusing to leave. I threatened to take harsher action and my mom was pissed, telling me to step aside, but I didn't let her in. I had her leave while the men in the family were watching stunned. My dad was on my side and supported me a lot. I felt absolutely awful because my wedding was being interrupted by them making scenes. My wife was later saying how my wife was hurt beyond measure, but the women in my family were pissed. My cousin blasted me on social media saying I excluded all the women from the wedding because my wife was so insecure she couldn't handle another woman's presence at her wedding. I had an argument with them, and mom berated me, saying it was supposed to be a prank, but I said it was taking it too far. Mom said I took it too far by kicking them out because they're trying to get a reaction from my wife to see if she was one of those bridezillas. And they were going to change soon as the prank was over, but I ruined my own and entire wedding by reacting so aggressively. I stopped talking after she said I had to bring my wife and apologize. I haven't seen them a lot in 2 weeks, and they excluded me from everything. Am I the jerk?
No.
No. Like,
Honestly, no. They were warned. They were told.
yeah.
They were being bullies, you know?
And
Like-
and assuming that, OC and their partner or their wife, did he say did he say she was dead?
No, then girlfriend, now wife. He said
Oh,
that.
okay, yeah. Okay. First of all, instead of then, I heard dead.
I heard that too.
Oh my god. I was
But,
so sorry.
Like, apparently he said from the beginning he's been telling them not to prank her, and then on their wedding day they pull that, and like, one of the number one rules is you don't wear white to a wedding.
Right?
Especially Western weddings, like I remember watching a movie, I think it was like something about like the mother-in-law was giving the new fiance hell, and she showed up in white to her wedding, and she's like, you're just gonna have to deal with it. My in-law showed up in black to my wedding. And I was like, damn. Oh my.
God.
Is that really necessary? Like, they said like they're doing this to test if she's a good. What is that?
She's like what? Like something like
A good like part of, is she's capable of being a part of their family? Like,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
By setting up tests to see if they deserve to be part of the family.
I think
This really reminds me of a movie I saw where this girl, she gets married into this house, and they're like really fancy, expensive, and they have a tradition that on at the night of their wedding at 12 o'clock, she picks a random card, and when she flips the card, it shows a game, and they play that game. But then there's one game, hide and seek, where all the family members have to go and find her and kill her if they don't find her. It's like, I'm like, it reminds me of that kind of tradition. It's kind of crazy. Why?
I don't know, it kind of reminded me of Amazing World of Gumball for some reason when you said that.
yeah.
It's just that one episode.
This kind of feels like one of those cases of like, how do I explain it? I don't know, maybe toxic femininity and a little bit of like, oh my gosh, you're so sensitive. Like, it was just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think that's how you should initiate people. Like personally, I don't find making fun of or roasting people or causing any sort of distress to people funny. Like, obviously, if you're really good friends, but like already meeting your in-laws and your partner's family is really nerve-wracking. And then to put on top of that, knowing that they're going to come in and they're going to do whatever it takes to make you feel not at home.
Yeah, and like bully you.
Exactly.
That's like there's like, it's like they're trying to like ruin their relationship with their lover, you know?
No, exactly. Like, I don't feel
On
you
top
should
of
have
that,
to
why Facebook?
Boomers.
Honestly, It's just on Facebook. It's just old people. Considering it's mom, stepmom, stepsister.
These are grown women bullying another woman. Why?
Because I don't know. I think I don't know. I think the older generations didn't get the memo about girls and women supporting women. But
Obviously.
yeah, like I've had some family drama happen over Facebook. I'm not gonna lie. Why Facebook? Good question. I don't even know how to use Facebook. I find it confusing.
I don't either.
I have Facebook only to contact my family and like across seas, but I don't even have the app installed, so because
Yeah,
it's not really worth it.
Exactly. Like I have Facebook, but I forgot my password and can't sign into my account. And I think I don't think I've accepted my grandmother's request.
Yeah, you shouldn't accept family members on social media. Like you know that's gonna.
Yeah. Like I have my cousins and my mom on Instagram, but I've created boundaries where they can't see certain things because I think like I think that whole argument of oh, if your grandmother couldn't look at it, do you think you should be posting it? And it's like, would you say the things you've said to your family friends in front of your grandmother? I don't think so. Like the people who make those arguments.
Statement. That's a weird statement.
They used to say that in those like social media assemblies they used to have in like grade 5, middle school,
like
beginning of high school.
Like no cyberbullying stuff.
Yeah, and like internet safety, it's like, oh, if you can't post it, if you couldn't dress like that in front of your grandmother, or if you couldn't do this, and it's like,
wait. Grown people are telling this to young kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also went to my elementary school was also filled with a lot of how do I put this? Traditional conservative white people.
Okay.
A lot of those, like my grade 4 and 5 teacher, she was older.
that's a nice way to put it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's go to this next story. How about that?
Oh yes, please.
Sumaiya, pick a number between 1 and 4.
2.
2? Okay. Am I the jerk for asking my boyfriend to come home from a family vacation to look after me post-surgery? I, 25 female, have been with Ben, 32 male, for 7 years. Recently, international travel was made available, so Ben took the opportunity to visit his family, who he hasn't seen in 2 or 3 years. The visit was a surprise for his whole family, and he only booked a return ticket once he arrived in the country because there was no flights available. Unfortunately, after a week, he got COVID and spent 2 weeks indoors. Not be able to visit his sister, he ended up buying a return ticket, but the arrival day was 3 days after my I don't know how to say it. I can't not Google.
Tonsil?
It's like a surgery for removing tonsils.
Okay.
I don't know how to say it exactly. And
Moving
it says he knew the date before leaving.
Mm-hmm.
He said flights prior to were double the price and he couldn't afford it, so he had to book something late January. I'm editing this bit to help with the confusion. He had no other choice but to book the flight 3 days after my surgery. This frustrated me because I don't have any other options. In comments it says, please stop suggesting I call a friend. I don't have the option. I am required to provide the hospital with details for... So what the heck is this? Details... I don't know. What is it? It just like not even English.
Do you want to share the word? Like share the screen?
Yeah, hold on. Give me a minute. I'm like so lost right now. Hold on.
Take your time.
So far, I want to play devil's advocate and vote for the boyfriend for some reason.
A little bit? Me too. I get that. Okay, where are we?
Oh,
hold on.
Where is it?
Frick, I just lost it. Okay, we're here.
Details of a carer? With details of a carer? Oh, like she wants to hire someone that could take care of her.
I guess.
Yeah.
Emergency contact, I would assume.
No.
Yeah,
Emergency
because
contact.
usually after you get any sort of surgery, the hospital, like for certain
Yeah.
things, the hospitals need to know that someone's gonna come get you.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't, because you can't drive home when you hopped up on anesthesia.
Yeah. So like details with the carer for 24 hours, but I'm not upset with him. It's beyond his control. I'm not
Mhm.
asking him to change his flight and pay a lot of money to arrive earlier if it seems like I am, but people are kept suggesting a taxi or a friend or family, and I was replying to the comments, but I'm not mad at him, nor did I ask him to change his flight. He then, I don't know, a week or so later, he asked me if I was okay to extend his stay to another week. He has planned to spend whole 4 weeks or so at his sister's house, but due to COVID, he only spent 2 weeks with her. Those 2 weeks, uh, those 2 weeks she spent it working because she didn't know of his arrival and so couldn't take time off.
Mm.
It would work out that he arrived on day 13 post surgery. I asked him to not extend his stay because I would need the support after surgery, even if I passed the first few days. I do feel like he is right. He should be able to see his family, and isn't his fault he got sick. After all, I'm a grown adult. I could find someone else to help. I guess it isn't really his job to care for me. Am I the jerk for asking him to leave his vacation so he can take care of me after I get my tonsils out?
I want to say yeah, because like that's his family, but at the same time, like if you've ever been through a surgery or taking care of someone who's just gotten a surgery, like even something as like small, quote unquote small, because that's relative, like it's really important having someone to be able to take care of you because you are exhausted and simple tasks are the hardest thing on the planet.
Yeah. If in my opinion, I kind of think she is a jerk, but I also think the boyfriend's a bit of a jerk because he didn't plan things ahead, and he was trying to surprise the family, and the family has their own life as well. And if he like told them, "Oh, I'm coming over," and stuff, they would be able to spend more time with him, so he would be able to enjoy his time there.
Yeah.
But he didn't tell anyone. His sister would end up working and can't
Yeah.
take time off.
And on top of that, you're supposed to be quarantining after flights.
Yeah.
Like maybe
exactly.
that's not a thing in the US because I'm assuming this is in the US because in Canada you're supposed to do this.
Yeah.
But like my aunt and uncle, you're supposed to quarantine in Canada in a hotel for 2 weeks. My aunt and uncle decided to quarantine in their home that they don't live with anybody else in, and they got like a $7,000 fine for it.
Oh,
So
God.
you should be like it's we take it seriously here, and it's a high chance you'll get caught. So I'm assuming it's in the U.S. But
This is international travel. I want to say it's like about overseas, like Europe or something like that.
true. But like you should be accounting for COVID and the fact that he didn't plan for that, and then on top of that was trying to mix in a surprise visit. I think that was irresponsible.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like they're jerks, either of them. Like
Mhm.
it was like unplanned circumstances that made them like fall into this situation. They call
Mhm.
a jerk. I don't know.
If I wanted to surprise someone, I'd at least like try getting another family member for them to make
Would
time.
you? I don't know. It really because like they haven't. I would imagine they haven't seen each other for like months and months. And he was like, "Oh, now that it's open, I could just go stay there for 2 weeks, be back." But then he didn't know that he was gonna get COVID. He didn't know that like they couldn't work around their like work schedule. I don't know. I feel like it was just a mere chance of circumstances that made them fall into this situation.
Yeah.
I just think during the pandemic, I think he should have planned more around it, and considering that his girlfriend, wife, partner's girlfriend's surgery was coming up, I think he should have been more careful.
Yeah.
Like, just at least be mindful or a bit more considerate about it. Like, I can understand, because it's obvious she's like, okay, obviously I can't change the fact that he went away and can't come back in time for me, but I'm very frustrated by that, and I think it would be assumed that anyone would be. Because I don't think she's blaming him, and like I think it's completely valid to be frustrated, but also like and to be frustrated and mad with someone, even though "Ugh, I can't change anything, but I'm still angry with you."
Yeah. I thought she also can't really. She like needs to get them removed as well. So she doesn't want to change the date
Hmm.
because then if she like change the date, it can be like months from now. Like considering like hospitals, like
Also,
how
I
busy they
think
are.
she said like if he tried to buy tickets like for like as soon as he could, it would be like double the price of a normal ticket.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So like,
and
is that logical or like?
I think considering the fact that he wasn't able to get tickets back home right away,
Mhm.
like when he was planning his trip there, it sounds like a really, really last minute trip. So everything on his
Yeah.
part just sounds last minute and kind of
Unorganized.
half-assed. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I think it would have just been a better bet to go get tickets for post surgery when she's
Mhm.
fine. It just because like healing from your tonsils, I'm gonna assume, considering it takes you like 2 weeks to heal from a cut, like any sort of whatever, it'd probably take 3 weeks tops. And I don't think it makes
3 weeks to a month.
like I understand
At
not
least,
seeing your
yeah.
family, but you do have responsibilities.
Yeah, 'cause
Sadly,
he knew like there was a date set for that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
he should have said like, "Oh, I should be back by this day, at least, to be in
No,
time."
exactly.
Like maybe him getting COVID was that situation. Like if that didn't happen, he would have been back on time. Like that was out of his hand.
No, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think considering how last minute it was, even if he had planned everything, obviously if he had planned everything, he can't plan on whether or not he's getting COVID. But considering it's a pandemic and traveling increases your risks of getting COVID, you have to account for that now. That's not just something you can't think about, sadly.
Yeah. I
And I
also
think
think it depends on a family. Not every family can be just surprised, can like get
Mhm.
surprised or whatever. I know like my family, if I was to go visit them, it'd be perfectly fine because they work for themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think considering his sister couldn't even take time off, like it just sounds like he was inconveniencing his sister.
He didn't think it through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This man just has no organizational skills, and now his girlfriend's getting tonsil surgery.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go on to the next story. Robyn, choose a number between 1 and 3.
3.
Okay. Am I the jerk for refusing my daughter down the aisle? Or did I say that right? Am I the jerk for refusing to walk my daughter down the aisle?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's read the story. Sumaiya, your opinion?
I don't know. It's like what the relationship. I don't know if that's her father or not. Maybe his stepfather. He's like, I want your actual father to walk you, or like some other circumstances. I don't know. We need to know the whole story.
Yeah,
Maybe there's a horrible relationship. I don't know.
Maybe
yeah,
we
we'll
never
see.
know. It's just a single sentence.
You never know until I tell you the story.
Exactly.
So, my daughter, 26 female, and I haven't spoken in years. When she was 15, she found out she wasn't my biological daughter and my wife has cheated on me years ago with a friend. As it turns out, this so-called friend has suddenly interest in playing dad. My wife and I divorced, and my daughter learned the truth, and I told her I still loved her no matter what. Of course, she was interested in getting to know her biological father, while I tried to accept that. She started pulling away from me after that, even when trying to do things still together as a family, she was no longer interested. The last straw was when she was 20 and living at my house. We were arguing because she dropped her college courses and hasn't done anything for 3 months. And mad because I told her she either needed to go to college or work if she wanted to stay here for free. She told me I'm not her real dad, so stop pretending like I am, and she'll just go stay with her real father. That broke me, honestly. That did too for me. I felt bad after I read that. Oh my god. But I told her if she if that's how she really feels, then there's nothing left to say between us. She did move out to go live with him. I was depressed for a very long time. Drank so much. My son, 24 male, was the only reason to keep moving forward. For the first couple years, I reached out to my daughter. She wanted no contact. I learned to accept that and move on. It's helped me to find peace in my life. My son stopped talking to her for a while over this, and she was angry with her. They still chat sometimes, which doesn't bother me at all. Through him, I learned her biological father died in October of 2019, also that she's engaged. She reached out to me first that she knows we haven't talked in a while, but she wanted to ask me if she's willing to walk her down the aisle. After a pretty long message of how much she hurt me in the past with her actions, I told her no. She didn't want me to be her father anymore, so I learned to no longer view her as my daughter. This turned into a fight between us because, according to her, it's not her fault she wanted to know her real dad. And I agreed with her, it's not. But what was her fault is how she treated me ever since. In my mind, if I know he hasn't passed, we wouldn't even be speaking right now. It ended with telling her I hope she enjoys her wedding, but I want no part of it of her. I want no part of it as well as her life. My son told me she's been ranting to my family that I ruined her day, and she thought parents are supposed to love their kids unconditionally. My brother seems to think I'm a jerk, and this is my chance to be in her life again, but I have no interest in that. Still seems everyone has a strong opinion on it, that I am making it difficult for my daughter to have the wedding she wants, and it would mean a lot to her. My son is on my side, but the comments are wearing me down, and just for the sake of my sanity, am I being a jerk?
This is a hard one.
Okay. That was my blanket. Okay, just so I know, at the beginning you said that he revealed, like it was like later in life they revealed that she's adopted.
So when she was 15, they found out that she was not the biological daughter, and then they divorced. Their wife and divorced, and then they told her. So she's like 15, turning 16. Probably.
Okay, so does that mean she was like... Wait.
Mature?
No, like I mean...
Not her mom, but like the person that she thought was her dad wasn't her dad.
Yeah, but does that mean she was adopted, or was the whole cheating thing about...
I think they hid it.
Okay. So, I think the fact they hid it would be traumatic if you were to just find out at the age of 15, because ages like 13, 16, between there, that's like a really impactful time. So to find that you're adopted at that point in time, or not biological or whatever it is, would be very traumatic, emotional. Like obviously there's a difference between like going to war trauma, but then there's also mini traumas, because everything can make an impact, right? So I think there's probably a resentment building there, and then the mom cheated. Is that what?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a biological daughter. My mom cheated. Life isn't working out exactly, and I divorce on top of that, and then moving on to I can go meet my biological father. Someone who, yeah, he hasn't been around, but he's completely removed to my situation that seems to be very kind of screwed up and messy. I'm going to go towards that and figure that out, because that seems detached and that seems like an environment that doesn't involve all of this BS. So kind of like, this is how I'm working through it. I think the father, like the OC, I just think he's not understanding how, like, obviously, yeah, she's probably said some really hateful things, and he said that she said some hateful things and hurtful things, but I do think he's not completely taking the time to understand her position. And I don't think he's completely the jerk, but I think he's I don't think he's a victim here.
Agree. I don't like he isn't understanding how much of an impact it had on a teenager to find out that the whole life that they imagined living in isn't even true. So,
Exactly.
And suddenly they're like, okay, I hate you because you didn't tell me the truth for so long. And then she goes, well, he said that the only reason she even contacted him to be in his wedding was because her biological dad, he passed away, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, if he didn't pass away, you wouldn't even be talking to me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for both of them. They didn't ask for this like situation, and like I would imagine it's really hard to like fix a relationship after finding out that like they aren't what they thought they were, like relationship wise.
No, exactly.
I don't think he's the jerk, but he just doesn't understand from her point of view.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Nick, what are you thinking?
I kind of think everyone sucks here. Just like, just if you really think about it, she was also 20, and then she was like just disrespecting him and just saying like, "Oh, you're not my real biological father," and yada yada yada. And I also think he's a bit of a jerk for like not like walking her down the aisle.
Yeah. I think personally, I don't see her as much as a jerk as I see him as a jerk. I think considering everything and considering how much he's like saying, "Oh yeah, this, but you know, it's not that bad," and kind of minimizing everything from her part, I can imagine having a conversation with him is really difficult. So, considering the hurtful things and, you know, when you're in university and college, it's really confusing. And I can see myself, you know, getting into a program and realizing this is not what I want to be doing and dropping something without telling one of my parents who I don't have a great relationship to begin with. And then for them to kind of come in and tell me what to do when it's like, well, I've already made this decision and you weren't a part of making this decision, and for you to tell me what to do is crossing some lines for me personally. Like I can, like if I'm putting myself in and if I'm seeing it right, I'd be really frustrated. And I think he's probably crossed over some lines. And considering he sent her a whole ranting text to be like, well, you did this and this and this and blah, 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 blah. So no, I'm not going to walk you down the aisle. He sounds petty.
There could have been better ways to convey his feelings, but if I was the parent and my child, after all this happened, they asked me to walk them down the aisle, I would do it. I would still walk because, like she said, a parent should love their child unconditionally.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, I think as much as your child messes up, you know, obviously she's not biological, so he didn't birth her, but whenever you're taking in a child, whenever you're having a child, whenever you're making that commitment, you've signed up for every difficulty possible. If your kid comes out being gay, if your kid comes out being, you know, a plumber, you don't... Not that being a plumber is bad, because actually we need those right now. We need people in the trades right now.
We need skilled trades.
We need more employees.
We need plumbers. But like no matter how your kid comes out, you've signed up for that and you need to take responsibility for that, and it is your responsibility to guide them in the right direction and give them the support that you need. And considering he started off her life, him and his ex, considering they started off her life with lies, there's already a breach of trust there. Yeah. And that would...
I don't think, from what I remember, I think he said that he himself didn't find out until, years later. Right?
Mm.
He did mention that, right, Nicolas?
He only... found out when he was 15. The daughter was the wife had an affair.
Okay.
Oh!
The jelly.
Hi.
Saw someone go through a door. I'm like, oh god, hello.
Okay, I thought they like adopted her, or they did like, one of those sperm donor things or something like that. I didn't realize that. I thought the affair was more recent. Because that does change a lot. Because if he didn't know,
Yeah,
like
the wife lied for 15 years. So
yeah, it's a bad situation for both of them.
the whole family, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't imagine they would know how to react properly to this, so I don't blame either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still think the dad's a bit of the jerk with the way he's dealt with.
Yeah.
But in terms of the whole affair and finding out that she's not biological, I can't blame him completely, but with the way he's dealt with it, it kind of felt like, my daughter's ignoring me, so I'll ignore her back.
Yeah,
kind of felt like one of those.
It's like a middle school. It's like a middle school fight. Yeah.
No, I think it's more of a high school fight, in my opinion, because I'm like really petty in myself. So
because you brought your pettiness into high school. It's high school.
Yeah. It's more like I brought my own pettiness into high school. I'm like, wow, they're not responding to me. Oh, fine. I'll do the same to you, you know?
Yeah.
Are you that type of person, Nicolas?
Pardon?
Are you that type of person?
I can be really petty sometimes. I know like not a lot of people want to mess with me and stuff, so because like they'll know
so
like
sweet though. What do you mean?
I can be petty sometimes. That's it.
Wow, I've never seen that side of you. I hope I don't.
You better hope you don't.
Same.
Okay, Sumaiya, choose a number between 1 and 2. We're going to the next story.
1.
Am I the jerk for telling my sister it's her fault that nobody likes her husband? I was not expecting this already, to be honest. So when I saw the title today, I'm like, I gotta put this in. Okay, let's go with the story. I'm asking you to please engage in cultural relativity here. You do not have to like her practices. Just temporarily accept them to understand this post. Okay, then. We're from a culture where customary is that a dowry... What the hell?
Dowry.
Yeah, dowry is paid when a woman is married. This is a customary marriage, and one must do in order to start a life. I'll just say CM for customary marriage serves many purposes. It shows the man is serious about you. He has worked to and saved to declare his commitment to you and your family. It joins your family to his, and it's the right way to marry a woman. It honors a woman's parents, family, and community, and it lets ancestors know you're leaving the home. The CM is one of the core principles of our society. We are a family-oriented people, and that's how families are forged. Now, my family decided to marry a white man who is not from our culture. He refused to marry her customarily because it was demeaning, barbaric, and backwards. Everyone advised her not to marry a man who viewed her that way, but she stuck to him. He had a European marriage ceremony. Our parents weren't supportive, but they did attend the church ceremony. This was already a huge faux pas in our culture. To add insult to injury, her husband is constantly rude and disrespectful to our culture. They live together in our home country. He comes into my parents' home and refers them by their first names. This is not done with anyone older than you, especially not with your in-laws. My parents try to look beyond the absence of a customary marriage and treat him like their son-in-law anyways. But he throws it back in their face each time. The other men who've married into the family have gotten together and days out. He was invited once, then never again. I recently had a baby and my parents slaughtered a cow to host a feast. Something wasn't done when my sister had hers. Something that wasn't done when my sister had hers. My mom also moved in temporarily to help me as a first-time mother while she only daily visited my sister. She came crying about peripheral treatment and everyone's mean to them. I have a newborn. I'm tired and I'm not in the mood. I said it's her fault for she treated the way she is. She chose to abandon her culture to appease a man who thinks she's beneath him. She then never taught him the culturally appropriate ways to behave or conduct himself, and he's constantly disrespectful. He has an energy about him that reminiscence of conduct himself and constantly disrespectful. He has I read that I read sorry. I read that wrong. He reminiscently of colonial settlers and none of us like it. The cow was slaughtered that was one that my husband gave as part of my marriage agreement. Her husband never did that and there was no cow to kill. She chose to carve her own path and turned her back on our ways. Nobody forced her to stick to our customs, but she can't force us to stick to our end of the deal. She wants to nice parts of the culture without going through the proper channels. She really wants to have her cake and eat it. I told her she was in a mess of her own making. She could either learn to live with it. Am I the jerk?
No. Because while you're reading it, I believe she's South Asian because we do a lot of those traditions in South Asia.
Yeah, I know.
And I was thinking, like, imagining if my siblings' partner did that, I would cut them off real fast. Like,
Yeah.
Or avoid them at all cost.
Exactly. Like, even though it's not a problem that you aren't from the culture, but like you should at least respect the culture.
I feel
and the family members as well.
I feel the husband. Yeah, I feel the husband specifically is a jerk because if you're marrying someone who's from a different culture, a different faith, I feel like I personally, whenever I've dated or been interested in someone from a different culture, I get really excited about learning about different things. So I'll be like Googling everything, so I'm never caught off guard. So it's like the fact that he hasn't done any of that and then refused to do anything traditional. And then on top of that, calling, the whole process, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like the whole process of proposing to a woman. He didn't do any of that, and then he insulted it on top of that. Like, I can't imagine stepping into someone else's world and insulting it.
He said the process of giving dowry is demeaning. Demeaning? It's, okay, I don't know how they do it like in modern days, but like in the older days, what they would do is they would ask. So what would happen is the guy would come to the girl's family and then ask her father, "Oh, I'm serious. I really like your daughter. Can I have her hand in marriage?" And then the dad sits and they communicate and they're like, "Okay, so what's your life decisions? How much money do you have? Like stuff, like for their future." And then they're like, "How much dowry can you give us?" Because dowry is not like, you're not like, I don't know why it's demeaning. He's giving that money to her so they can build a future together using that money. It's not
like, can you support this woman? If you can't, then like
exactly. Like, how can you not support her?
Exactly. It's
also,
just
he didn't have a traditional wedding. He said he wants like a Western wedding, and they agreed with that. And then he goes on to call his in-laws with their first name.
They can also like do a wedding like from both cultures, Like
a lot of people do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you see
and their culture?
Like, remember Nick what's his face and Priyanka what's her face? Yeah. They did 2 weddings.
They did 2 weddings.
It looked really cool. It looked like fun. Like, personally,
but honestly, maybe it's because they have the money to do that.
No, yeah, this is true. But I think even then you can do small things.
You can incorporate both cultures in one single wedding too. It's not hard.
Yeah. Like, maybe
do it.
Yeah, maybe you wear, like, if you don't want to, wear traditional wear from whatever culture they're specifically from, then maybe you just wear, a suit and tie, but you let your wife, well, not let your wife, your wife maybe wears, whatever traditional dress is coming from her culture or whatever it be. Like, either way, the dress is going to be really expensive.
Exactly.
So
it's sad that he did that, but also
I feel like he's also more controlling.
He sounds really controlling. It sounds like a case of an older man grooming a younger woman, in my opinion.
I never thought of that. Oh,
not like 40 year difference, but it's giving, oh, I know what's good for you. I know what's better for you.
I'm older than you. I know what's best for you. And
because they also spoke about colonial ideas. I feel like he really enforces that for some reason. I don't know why. Because they said her sister had a child, and she also had a child. But when she had a child, her husband got a cow, and they sacrificed the cow. So when
that was part of their agreement.
It's traditional. Like when you sacrifice a cow, like part of it goes to family, part of it goes to the poor. Like you are helping, like you're celebrating a new life. But
exactly.
he did.
Yeah, like he put in nothing in it. It's like you don't even but maybe the sister's just leaving. Oh, maybe the sister's just leaving it out. But it doesn't sound like he's done anything to help. And I honestly do feel bad for the sister, because when you date and you marry and you get with people like that, it's really difficult, and you don't realize it's bad until it's bad.
The family cut her off.
Mm-hmm.
Off, she's with her husband, so they cut her husband off. So basically, they cut her off too, right?
Yeah.
How would you feel?
I don't think it's
they did that. Like if your family members did that.
I think I'd obviously be very upset, but I think specifically, I'm thinking this isn't a marriage that's gonna last. I'm thinking this is something that is gonna need a divorce. I think.
Oh God, I hope it doesn't last.
Right?
She's gonna realize sooner or later, that it is not what she hoped it would be.
Exactly. And I think post-divorce, she's gonna really wish she had her family supporting her, because it's really hard to get out of relationships like that. When you don't have family and friends around you.
Yeah. That's why there's a dating process before marriage. You got to know each other first.
Exactly.
To see if marriage will even work. If you guys want marriage in the first place.
Take your time.
Exactly. Never rush a relationship.
Yeah, I can't.
He skipped the whole process of him respecting the parents and taking the time to go talk to them first and stuff. Now if she comes back, they're gonna be like, well, we told you. He didn't do the things that he should have done. If he did it, then we would have found out earlier on that he wasn't the right match for you.
Mm-hmm. And I think even if you don't agree with the whole idea of giving money and stuff like that, I think if it's within your character to kind of follow that sort of tradition, that shows a lot towards your character specifically, because it's showing specifically respect for your parents, which you can do in many different ways, including respecting different cultures and the way the parents would prefer. That's the word. The way the parents would prefer that you propose and you show your commitment. But then you can also do it in your own way by, I don't know, playing Yahtzee with parents. But I think going the extra mile to learn things and to actually try to become involved with, a culture you're not familiar with, it just shows. Even if you do screw up and you don't get it right, that effort is seen. Because obviously he's white, so they know he doesn't come from that kind of culture.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever interacted with someone of that culture in this sense. I feel when he heard the word dowry, he felt like it's demeaning. But I don't like using the word dowry. They the tradition still they do the tradition nowadays too. But we don't call it dowry anymore. It's how much can you put into savings? That's what they're basically asking. For your future, it's for both of you. It's not just for her. I think he didn't try to understand what it means for both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I also think if he truly loved her, he would like at least try to learn about the culture and get used to it. You know?
Yeah.
Over time, eventually, at least like slowly and slowly, like abruptly, if you
Yeah.
bring someone into a culture, of course they're going to be overwhelmed. Like I imagine they had a child now. It's been years. Like it's been a long time. Like he should like be like, I respect your culture. Like I know that in your culture they sacrifice a cow when a baby's born. Should we do that? No conversations, no communication with their family, nothing. So
yeah, and I think the family should be way more supportive, and they're not. But then on top of that too, I don't think the sister's a jerk, but you do have a responsibility personally to make sure you're dating and you're with the right person. And not like, I don't want to victim blame, but at the end of the day, no one's going to help you but yourself. And considering she's dating outside of her race, outside of her culture, that's a really big decision to make. And considering she's dating someone who has like zero respect for the culture and seems to think that, hey, yeah, you know, the whole process of everything, yeah, that's disrespectful to you. I'm just going to skip it and I'm going to insult your parents at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, you go. Campaign.
So we have to admit one thing.
Yeah.
The sister's not really a jerk, but there's still responsibility she has to take.
there is. You
need to take care of yourself. At the end of the day, you come first.
Exactly. Okay, so last story for this episode. Am I the jerk for telling my mate his wife has to pay too?
No.
So I guess let's see what happens. One of my best mates, who is the only one that is married, asked if I and a couple others wanted to go on a trip together. We had a small friend group of 5 people, and we haven't done much recently as life has gotten in the way. His wife got to looking and found a place for us to stay, and he, of course, had to include his wife in the trip. Nice gal, I guess. Just kind of wanted it to be mates only trip. It's fine, but we're all used to it by now as they got married around 10 years ago. And has been that way ever since. She found a cheaper place and rented it. They figured out what it was per person and gave us the numbers on what we'd be paying per month. Well, I did the math, and they didn't include splitting the price 6 ways. They did 5 ways. They did not include his wife in the splitting. I called it out immediately and said I'm not paying another person's share, so they might not pay twice. No one else really commented on it, but I wasn't having it. I felt like it was unfair. My mate said he shouldn't have to include his wife in the price, especially since they found and booked the place. I said either she pays or don't go. He ended up telling me, no, now you're not going, and if any of you agree, you wouldn't be going either. I just go with my wife, or something along those lines. A whole argument followed, and it caused a huge rift. I still think I'm in the right, and I wouldn't understand how he doesn't see it that way. Seriously, is she not another guest? Why would she not have to pay a spot too? Am I the jerk for telling him that she should have been included in the price?
No, but when you book things, like at least it works this way for Airbnb, and when you book vacations and stuff, you do have to pay a down payment. Like there is like a reservation fee. So from what it sounds like, she probably paid the reservation fee, and like obviously reservation fee is not as expensive as the actual like trip, but if it does come out the same, then you might be the jerk.
Yeah.
From what I understood, I thought like, yeah, she booked it, yeah, she paid for it. I think, but like when they calculated how much cost it's gonna be for everyone, I think she included the down payment in it.
Yeah, then.
You think so?
Yeah, either way, I do think she should be paying a certain amount. But like the way the way, because I'm planning a trip next summer with some friends. It's going to be like a 4-person trip or whatever. And the way it's working out is that we're probably just going to say like, hey, do you have $50? $50. Okay, we'll put that for the down fee. And then when the time comes to actually pay for the place, when we go, it's going 4 ways. So to begin with, she and the husband probably should have asked for like, hey, we're reserving and paying. Can everyone chip in for that?
Yeah.
So is it 5 guys and one of the guys' wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just one of them that's questioned why she isn't paying. The rest of them didn't even ask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's odd.
I'm wondering if maybe it just doesn't make enough of a difference, and that's why no one else is taking up an issue with it.
Maybe, but like,
because I'm not gonna lie, some of the places I found, like for like a 4-night trip, the lowest price I saw was like $300 for like 6 people.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's like, to be fair, it wasn't the nicest place, but like, come on.
If you're on a budget, you can still go like and have a nice trip.
Yeah.
No, exactly. So
you don't have to like stay in a place the whole day. You go out.
Exactly.
So if it's like a case of a place that's really cheap, like that's like, I can see how other people aren't really like, no one cares. So I'm just doing quick math. So like if it's, let's say, we're gonna go $500 trip split between 5 people, $500, that's $100 each, right? As much as $100 is a lot of money, that's not like a ton of money. Like, that's not,
considering like you're going on a trip, like of course at least you're gonna spend that much money.
exactly. It's like, is it splitting nails?
I think in the equation, it's important to know that is in the cost of everything, did she include the down payment also? If not,
exactly,
fine if she doesn't pay for her head. But like, if not, if she's including the down payment in the cost, then I feel like that's wrong. She should pay for herself.
No, definitely. Like, even then too, like, I think it's fair that if you're splitting a trip, no one should be exempted, even if it's a $5 trip and everyone's paying like $1 when you could be paying like, I don't know, what's 5 divided by 6?
Hey Google, what is 5 divided by 6?
The answer is approximately 0.833333.
Yeah, so everyone should be paying 0.83333.
33.
Like, it's just fair and it's equitable.
Yeah.
But like, maybe it's a matter of, hey, I'm not going to be paying for the trip, but I will be paying for all the food and I will be paying for the gas and I'm driving. Like, I think that's completely fair.
That.
Oh yeah.
You can also split it like that.
Like, that's,
do you
like,
think in a way that her gender is like affecting why she isn't paying?
I don't know.
Not
I don't know.
sure.
They don't sound like that kind of bunch. You know what I mean?
I also feel like if the wife's not paying, at least her husband should at least pay,
For her.
Yeah. In a way. Like, because like, you don't, not everyone wants to pay for a person they're not seeing or let alone, like, it's just like their friends,
I agree.
Okay, so
he said they were together for 10 years, didn't he?
Yeah. They're married for 10 years.
So I don't know, guys. He should be paying for her if she doesn't want to pay, or if like he should be convincing her to at least pay or something.
Yeah.
It feels like it feels wrong. Like imagining myself going and then not paying for myself, it feels like I'm like a burden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel useless.
Exactly.
No, exactly.
Eating off people's plate. Like when I didn't pay for it, like I feel bad.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
And like what I was saying earlier, like most of my friends, if they've all made a payment for some sort of whatever, and I'm not able to, I can at least bring food, I can at least bring drinks, I can at least, drive, I can at least, like, whatever you can do
Contribute
to, like,
in different ways.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, like, they're going to be spending money on food, they're going to be spending money on events, they're going to be spending money on maybe going to a museum, right?
Yeah.
Ugh, my ears are sore from my headphones.
Yeah. Well, you can take them off soon because this is the end of the episode. So
Yay!
I wonder, do you guys enjoy it overall?
That was a
Yeah,
lot
it was
of
fun.
Honestly, it was, in my opinion. Unfortunately, online we can't go into school and record, but honestly, this works better than I expected. To be honest, I'm expecting more like technical problems, but I guess I have it all figured out.
Yeah, and
So-
considering we used Discord, it went smoothly.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there's sometimes that your camera did bug out, but that's the best we can do. There's
My
nothing we
bad.
can do. It's fine. It's relax. It's fine.
My Wi-Fi from my headphones.
Yeah. Well, you can take them off soon because this is the end of the episode. So
Yay!
I wonder, do you guys enjoy it overall?
That was a
Yeah,
lot
it was
of
fun.
Honestly, it was, in my opinion. Unfortunately, online we can't go into school and record, but honestly, this works better than I expected. To be honest, I'm expecting more like technical problems, but I guess I have it all figured out.
Yeah, and
So-
considering we used Discord, it went smoothly.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, there's sometimes that your camera did bug out, but that's the best we can do. There's
My
nothing we
bad.
can do. It's fine. It's relax. It's fine.
My Wi-Fi.
I don't
Oh.
blame you. I gotta
Not
censor
you
that
swearing.
out. It's fine. But thanks to everyone for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Or if you guys are listening on Spotify, Google Podcast, or Apple Podcast, or you're watching on YouTube. On YouTube, the new platform we're doing. I also low-key feel like I'm copying you guys because now you guys like open a YouTube channel. I'm like, I don't want to feel like a copy, you know?
No, you're
You started
definitely
a
not.
YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I did. Yeah,
SoulTies
we're
did.
all. The hope is that most of the podcasts are going to be moving to YouTube, if whether or not they're video or just audio recordings.
That's exciting.
Yeah, so hopefully you'll be on
Whoa.
YouTube too for Sauntering with Sumiya.
Yeah,
Maybe.
We'll see.
Aiden and I, not to give an episode reveal, but Aiden and I are hoping to do a video episode this week and have it posted on YouTube by Friday.
Yay.
There might be some complications considering it's SoulTies, and there's always complications. But yeah.
So before we end it, shout out to Sauntering and Sumaiya and SoulTies. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Anytime. So it's almost over an hour. It's crazy. I did not expect it to take this long. Jesus Christ.
You might have to
Last-
split it up a little bit. You can have multiple episodes, part 1, part 2, part 3. You're set for the next 5 weeks.
True. But I also feel like longer episodes people are more interested.
Yeah.
In my opinion,
We had
because I
good
know someone's-
conversations.
Yeah, I know. I know
Yeah.
people told me that as well. Like, oh, I wish the episode was longer. I'm like, we'll see about that.
Yeah, and then again, if you have to, you always have the option of doing your episodes in parts. It never has to be a full run through if it,
Exactly.
We love a
So-
good series.
Yeah, so this podcast is already a series now.
True.
Well, we're gonna end it here. So I'm gonna stop recording now.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hope you have a great day.